Today on Project Carpalooza, we get knuckles deep in a tranny.
And we're gonna try not to bust our knuckles. Before we do that, we need to pull the pin out. And this should slide right out. Set to the side. Let's pull the speed sensor out. If not, you can break them very easily. It looks like this has a spacer.
Alright, open it up. It definitely looks clean enough like it had one.
Yeah. Just want to keep that together. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Put that up to the side. I don't want to put it in a magnetic box just because that's a magnetic sensor. And we pull the detent springs and the detent bolts out. And we use the
Hold on just a second.
use a magnet to pull the detent balls out and save them. Okay. I think we need to. Oh, I still need that there.
What kind of things are you going to be looking for?
Worn gears, sharp edges on the teeth, any loose metal in the bottom, any cracked gears or shafts, and worn forks are the main things we're going to look for today.
Now, what about the synchros?
Well, it's hard to see the synchros, but we can check the clearances between the synchros and the gears to tell if they're good. Without totally disassembling, we're only going to get a small look at them. Ooh. Why does it do that? Are they left-handed threads or something on these?
No way. Wow.
It seems like they're tightening.
Yeah, well, try.
They're left-handed.
Shit.
They're left-handed threads. That's funny.
Question is, do we stretch any of them?
Well, I'm sure we can find more of those if we have to.
Buy a couple
Well, they're
bolts.
special bolts, actually.
So we can go accurate. Oh, they're special for the magnesium case.
They're special for the magnesium case. They have a coating on them,
And they're left-handed thread.
and they're left-hand threads.
They're backwards.
That's a new one.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
I wonder if that's how they kept people from getting confused between the magnesium cases and others, so they didn't try and use normal bolts in them. Like a little
Very
insurance policy to keep technicians from.
That's probably exactly why they do it.
The gun's down pretty low, so I doubt we damaged any
Right.
thread. You know what I mean? If we look, there is an arrow on the bolts saying that they're left-hand thread. I don't know if you can see it on that one or not. Interesting. Okay. Need to let that drop. I almost think we need to like a small. Oh, shit.
Flathead screwdriver.
That's it. I just. I don't see any damage to any of the bearing areas. Take the reverse idler out. We need to pull the reverse mechanism out. then we should be able to pull all the shafts out as one unit and then separate them. And we want to take a look at the forks first. I see very little wear.
Yeah, I've seen them mostly a quarter of their material on occasion.
Yeah, no, these look really good shape.
Hope for your synchros.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's low mileage. Now the most common, we want to look inside the sliders to make sure that they're not worn as well. They look good shape.
The synchros look even too. They don't look like
Yeah, there's no edges
Yeah.
from it being forced into gear. The spring itself looks still round, not flattened. And this is 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Oh, the synchros look in really good shape. And the only thing is, first gear and second gear is usually the one that takes the biggest beating. And that looks in really good shape. No burrs at all. So we pull the magnet and just normal fuzz. Nothing. No big chunks of metal. I don't see any brass in the oil, so that's a good story. Good line. I always like to replace this bearing and the seal when I have it apart because that's the first thing that goes in. So if it goes bad, that's the last thing you get to. And these bearings take the biggest load, and they have a tendency to make noise once they start going bad.
Now, how expensive are they?
The bearing itself is only $25, but $1,000 labor to pull it out of the car and disassemble it.
We're already here, so
it's cheap insurance. These come out pretty easy. This is an open differential.
Those are spider gears.
Yeah, just the spider gear, no posi, no limited slip. But the case everything is great on the case. I don't know if you want to tip it, look at some of the oil. I don't see any material.
Oil's clean.
This is a nice case. You can definitely see the difference with the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When they peen the bushing in. Yeah, this is a nice case. It's a good transmission.
Picked a winner. Looks like we picked a winner out of the junkyard. Maybe I'll go buy a lottery ticket tonight.
Eventually.
Oh god, that stuff smells nasty. So, what we're doing with this tranny, obviously we pulled apart to check to make sure it was good because it was a used one and it was good. So we're only really replacing simple things. Oil seals because, you know, it still has 140,000 miles on it, so we want to keep them sealed. And the other thing we're replacing is the main input shaft bearing. Now the reason we replace that one is because it gets the most load in the transmission, being that first gear is closest to it. This will part from Honda?
Yeah, you can replace this if you want. I kind of straightened it out.
Oh, okay.
I made it smooth. But I just wanted to make sure there was no metal underneath the bearing and clean it. Just cleaning everything so we don't have any debris once we put it back together. Nice and clean. Fire up for a while.
Reminds me of the smell of the junkyard.
So I've cleaned the bearing, the main main shaft bearing and relubed it. And now I'm installing the retainer plate. Then we're going to install the input shaft seal. I like to put a little bit of on the outside to get it to slide in. I think it's down. And then we got a new, the seal comes pre-lubed, so we don't have to worry about putting anything on there. Damn bags. Funny, the other one slid right in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I had to tap this one out.
Interesting.
Fluid on there. I put a little fluid on this one. Okay, so we want to rinse off those shafts real quick.
Yeah.
And we're ready to stab these two. Just do a quick rinse.
Quick rinse and blow them off.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I soaked myself. I'm sure there's some old Japanese saying about cleanliness and godliness.
Let's lay the differential in the housing. Let's wipe off. I just want to test fit the main shaft to make sure that the bearing doesn't seem to be affecting anything. We straightened it out.
Yeah.
I straightened out that nipple, so it's all good there. So, the key is now to hold everything in place. Hold your tongue just right. And assemble it all at one time.
Yeah, let's do. There was no tool for doing this at the dealership to hold everything together?
No.
That doesn't seem like the Honda way.
All together. Hopefully, all drop in place. One in the first shot. That's always good. All right, now that we've got the differential in and we've got both shaft sets and shifter forks in, we will install the reverse idler gear. Some of these have a locating pin on the bottom so the hole is in the right clocking position, but this one doesn't. And they have an indicator on the inside of the case, I don't know if you can see that, which way to aim the hole. So we'll go ahead and install this and aim it towards the hole, because the case, the outer case has a hole for the bolt to go into this. So we want to make sure we line that up, otherwise it's really a pain to get that bolt started. The mechanism to activate reverse and the shoulder bolt. Reverse seems to engage nicely. All the clearances look good. Okay. I guess we're ready. Just wait for the case half. Oh, let's put the magnet in. Catch the debris. And we previously removed the oil guide, I guess you would call it. and the retaining clip to clean it. Now we're going to reinstall. Fits inside the groove. And it just simply pushes in. Since we're not changing the differential, we will not need to re-shim this one. But when we go to put a limited slip in it, we will have to change that shim to compensate for any differences in measurements. Oil on the bearings, down into the shafts. Oh, you don't want to do that, it'll go straight through. But just a little bit. And I always like to, when I tell people to put a motor or a tranny in, is before you drop it on the ground, spin it in gear, like fourth gear, because the spinning of the differential is what lubes the shaft. So you want to lube it all before you put it on the ground and put a load on it. Oh. That's my theory.
Spin in fourth gear, like with the car moving, like with the engine, or by hand?
No, with it. Spin it with the engine.
Oh, okay.
So you fire it up, you drive, you're testing the car, make sure everything's good to go before you set it down. Spin the tranny.
That makes sense.
Just to pre-lube all the bearings.
Without real load on them.
Without a load. Okay. So when it comes to the transmission, I like to put something, tip the transmission case. Because the shafts have a tendency to
relax back off of them.
Right. So when you go to put the case on, they have a tendency to fall in a little easier.
Got it.
Let's see how it works. Do this before this stuff starts setting up. I'm going to have to start over.
Scrape it all again.
Okay. Forgot my tools. Did it go down a little? Oh yeah, when we were sliding the transmission down, we need to spread the retaining clip off the main shaft bearing so the case can drop all the way down. The gear that we talked about is in this hole right here. And so we wanted to make sure that that bolt was lined up. Is it the reverse thread too? There it goes. You just have to hold your tongue this right, I told you that. So once we've got the case on and all the bolts are tightened down, I like to flip the transmission down and tip it. Ouch, damn it. Tip it so the bearing locks into the retaining clip before you install the cap, which is dirty. Balls that we install to hold the car, they hold the transmission in gear is what they do. And there's a spring in each one to preload them just a hair to help hold the shafts in place. On the TSX with magnesium case, you need a spacer between the sensor and the case. And also, if you don't put the spacer in there, your sensor contacts the gear. So if you, I don't know if you can see. Can you see that?
It's like a straight shot down almost.
Right there. Yeah. Without the spacer, that will make contact with the gear. It's there. See if that doesn't help.
Well, that works.
I'm gonna make sure the shifter piece is in the right position, which it is. I think we're good to go.
All right, got a tranny again.
Tranny all rebuilt, so we did check it for shifting. Now let's all gears seem to be functioning pretty all the gears are there. We should have to put axle seals in it.
Well, hopefully this tranny should be good to go. I'm sure it will. Doug always does great work. Plus, everybody hates blowing a tranny. Sorry, that wasn't. I wanted to work something in there. We made so many tranny jokes on the first part of the video.
Oh, that's right, we did, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, basically, we resealed it, inspected it, and replaced one bearing for longevity.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that when you install it the first time, we don't have to take it back out and repair it.
Yeah, definitely. And next we're going to start getting the motor all cleaned up, do a few seals on that since we already have it up, especially a rear main seal, because anytime you have a tranny off the motor, you might as well just do the rear main seal because it's like $30 from Honda anyways. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to VTEC Academy.